when the camera pans to Alex Trebek, the familiar blue-tone backdrop of Jeopardy offers a moment of comfort. It's a set that, for millions, feels like a living room, a place where knowledge and curiosity are rewarded, where a kind Canadian voice makes trivia feel like a noble pursuit. On March 6, 2019, however, Trebek wasn't posing a question, but rather delivering a profoundly personal answer. In a candid video posted on the official Jeopardy! YouTube channel and social media accounts, Alex Trebek, then 78, stood on the iconic soundstage to share devastating news. He had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. The announcement came with the same calm, articulate grace that had marked his decades-long career. But behind the composed expression, there was vulnerability and extraordinary courage. Greater than now normally, the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, Trebek admitted. But I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working. And just like that, the host who had asked over 400,000 questions in his lifetime had given an answer that no one saw coming, and the world listened. The Trebek effect. To understand why this news landed with such gravity, one has to understand who Alex Trebek was. More than a host, he was a fixture of American culture, a man whose intelligence was never intimidating and whose wit had a quiet charm. For 35 years, he stood behind the podium, reading clues with sharp diction and a twinkle in his eye, watching contestants chase glory in the form of daily doubles and Final Jeopardy! In an age of fast fame and media spectacle, Trebek was a model of consistency. He wore suits when others wore flash. He asked questions when others shouted opinions. He was unshakably dignified, and when the world felt chaotic, he was a dependable presence, a nightly reassurance that facts still mattered, that civility wasn't extinct, and that intelligence was something to celebrate. An unexpected revelation. That's what made his announcement all the more shocking. In the video, there was no dramatic music, no tearful monologue, no special effects. Just Trebek, clear-eyed and direct, looking into the camera like he always had. Greater than just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year. This week, I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, he said. He was matter of fact, but not cold. Vulnerable, but not defeated. And then, in a moment that sparked both tears and applause across the internet, he made a trademark Trebek-style quip. Greater than, truth told, I have to. Because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy! For 3 more years. It was humor in the face of fear, the kind of line that perfectly encapsulated his personality. His fans, many of whom had never missed an episode, rallied instantly. Social media flooded with support. Former contestants posted heartfelt messages. Celebrities from all spheres, actors, athletes, politicians, tweeted their admiration. Trebek was not just a host. He was, in a very real sense, family. Facing mortality in the public eye. Pancreatic cancer is one of the most aggressive forms of the disease, and stage 4 is often considered terminal. Trebek's openness about the diagnosis was brave, but it also served a greater purpose. It opened a national conversation about hope, vulnerability, and grace under pressure. Unlike many public figures who choose to keep such news private, Trebek decided to share his journey with the audience who had trusted him for decades. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It was a human moment from a man who, despite his fame, had always seemed just a bit too humble for Hollywood. Trebek didn't ask for sympathy. He asked for understanding, and maybe for a bit of patience as he tackled what would become the most difficult challenge of his life. Resilience on display. In the months following his diagnosis, Alex Trebek did something few expected. He came back to work. Tapings resumed. Clues were read. Champions were crowned. He even hosted the Jeopardy! Greatest of All Time tournament in early 2020, where Ken Jennings, James Holzhauer, and Brad Rutter faced off in a trivia battle watched by millions. Though visibly thinner, Trebek's spirit was intact. He joked with contestants, teased them when they forgot to phrase in the form of a question, and thanked the audience with heartfelt sincerity. What became clear was that Trebek was not hosting the show despite his illness. He was hosting it because of it. For him, Jeopardy! Was more than a job. It was purpose. structure, even therapy. In later interviews, he confessed that there were days he was in pain and days he was unsure he could stand for the full taping. But he never let the show or his viewers down. He battled cancer with the same quiet strength that had defined his career. Legacy beyond the podium. Though Alex Trebek passed away on November 8, 2020, the video message from March 2019 remains one of the most powerful testaments to his character. It's a moment that reminds us that strength isn't